Hello everybody, Backyard Bullion here. Welcome one and all to my humble silver pouring bench. Now I have to excuse the lighting, it is a very, very dark, dank, horrible, drizzly day here in the United Kingdom, and I've had to turn the lights on during the day to even get anything done. But today we are going to be doing some silver pouring. As you can tell, I've got my workstation set up here on the kitchen hob. It's on this MDF board on top of the kitchen hob, and the furnace is coming up to temperature. We're going to get some silver flowing shortly. And I know these videos are quite popular and they're much in demand from a lot of you out there who want to see a lot more of the inner workings of the Backyard Bullion production bench, and I thought I'd share a little bit of that here today. So we're going to make some Tetris pieces and we'll get to that as we go throughout the video, but I wanted to share what it's kind of like to pour silver on almost what is pretty much a daily basis right now. It's forming a very large part of my life and my livelihood. It is essentially my job, as well as doing a whole bunch of other things. Revenue diversification, by the way, key to any small business. If you were wondering how it's or what it's like to pour silver, it's tough, it's hard. You have to have other avenues. So we are, of course, always exploring other things. You know, the YouTube ad revenue, as small as it might be, is helpful, and also you know, selling coins and selling other things as well is very, very key. So lots to factor in, and one of the biggest things to factor in is, of course, the time it takes to pour silver. It can take 3, 4, 5 hours a day for me to be doing silver pouring, and then I've of course got all of my YouTube commitments and packaging and doing all of the admin and email answering YouTube comments. It's endless. It really is endless. Now don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining. I absolutely love it. I am over the moon that I get to spend the majority of my day pouring silver and creating things and being yeah, just so creative. It's really amazing, and I'm really, really grateful and thankful for it. And part of that is because of people out there who are ordering my silver and ordering bits and bobs from me. And one of the things that has been incredibly popular and that we are going to be making today are Tetris pieces. So you can see here I'm working on another batch to send up to the Edinburgh Assay Office for hallmarking. So if you don't know, we have to have things hallmarked here in the UK, which means they have to have their content purity assayed, and then we have a little mark put on there to guarantee that that is indeed what we say it is. So these are the ones I've made over the last couple of days, and I'm filling up this box and then hopefully sending that up to Edinburgh Assay Office maybe today, maybe tomorrow, depending on how many we get done. Now, incidentally, if you are interested in picking up any Tetris pieces, we've had a huge flurry of orders recently. I think I've made like 140 of them, and then whatever we're going to make today as well. It's probably about 160, 170 in total. So if you are interested in picking up any of these Tetris pieces, I have now created a new listing on my website, and it's an all-in-one place that you can go and see all of the options around the Tetris sets, including the ones with display boards, the different sizes of display boards, and also now for the first time you can pick up individual Tetris pieces. So if you, I know it's obviously not cheapest things in the world to buy a giant set of 25 pieces, so if you just wanted the one piece, you now have the opportunity and option to go onto the website and just pick up one piece of Tetris, whether that's or 2 or 3 or 4. You can order whatever you like. You can do it on a monthly basis. I know I've got a lot of people right now who are on what I call the monthly Tetris Club, and they get a it's a subscription service. Each month they get a Tetris piece, and over time they complete their sets. So there's loads of different options. Head on over to my website. There's a link down in the description below. So we are going to now hopefully get the silver flowing. The furnace is coming up to temperature. Now, one of the big things around pouring silver is the time it takes to do it. As I said, it's 3, 4, 5 hours a day, depending. 3 hours is the minimum, 5 hours is usually the maximum that I run these furnaces for. And today we're probably going to be doing a longer pouring cycle. So I'm not going to show it to you all. I'm just going to cut into where we actually do some of the silver pouring. But one of the top tips that I've got for anybody out there, so you'll notice here that I've got the furnace and I've got the graphite crucible with some of the silver in it on top of the furnace. That's because the lid gets nice and toasty warm, almost too hot to the touch in fact, as it's heating up, and it just radiates a bit of heat into there, which gives it a head start when I plop it in. And in fact, because I just had to retake this entire video because my alarm went off as I was filming, I know that the furnace is now up to temperature. So we are going to plop this into the hole, and then we are going to wait well, for you it's going to be just a few seconds, but for me it will probably be about 9 or 10 minutes until that silver is all molten and we can pour it into this mould. So hang fire, I will see you in just a moment. Alright, silver is nearly up to temperature and we have the mould here, which we're going to get a little bit of heat into. It's, by the way, cold to the touch right now. I haven't heated it, which is why I'm using my bare hands for any of you who are going to shout at me for being careless with my health and safety, which is of course a really important thing and something you don't necessarily think about when you're working from home all on your own. So I would highly recommend to anybody out there to get a very good pair of heat-proof gloves. Safety equipment is key, so do remember that. Now we are going to attempt to pour 2 Tetris pieces. We can basically get 2 Tetris pieces worth of silver in one of these graphite crucibles. This is obviously not the one that we're going to be using in a moment, but we can get about 2 Tetris pieces worth in there. Hopefully they're going to come out alright. They don't always come out alright, so I suppose it'd be kind of cool to see some of them fluffed up live on camera, because I'd say for every, let's say for every 10 Tetris pieces I make which are good, there's probably 3 or 4 which are not. They don't come out very well at all. So we'll see how it goes when we pour. So we're going to try one of these long thin ones to start with. Let's see if the silver's ready. It is. So here we go. Very good, and quick tap, and then we're going to move straight onto this L, and quick wobble, and it's just like that. So that was kind of lucky. Both of those filled nicely, although it did look like that one was going to not fill perfectly for a few seconds, but it has. So those look pretty good. We're going to leave them in there because that's my way of remembering what I've actually poured. I'm going to put some more silver in the crucible and then I'll be back in a moment and we'll pour some more Tetris pieces. Right, we are back once again, and this is one of the things which I suppose is probably the most frustrating thing about pouring silver. For you guys that was just a few seconds, it was just a quick edit of video, but for me it's like 3, 4, 5 minutes at a time getting up to check the silver. It can take sometimes, depending on the furnace, like this is the small one that I'm using today, so it's relatively quick, but the big ones can take 10, 15 minutes in between pours, so it's quite frustrating. I mean, in fact, today, whilst I'm filming this, I'm actually editing some videos that I filmed earlier in the week. So I am able to utilize my time quite well, but it is fairly frustrating in certain ways because you're not able to just kind of get something quickly done. It's a slow process, and as I said earlier in the video, if you mess one of these pieces up and it doesn't come out right, then it's not going to be very fulfilling. It's so disheartening when something comes out. We haven't had it yet. Maybe it will happen now. We'll soon find out. I think the silver's pretty much up to temperature, so let's put a bit more heat back into this mold and then we can pour some more of these pieces. Of course, there are loads of different molds that we do. The Tetris pieces are pretty tricky because of their shapes. You'll see when we get to pouring some of these ones that they are pretty tricky. You know, certain other shapes are a lot easier, but I like to set myself bits of challenges. Let's see how we're getting on. Yep, we are ready. And you know, if there's no challenge in life, then what exactly is the point, is my motto. Let's see if we can get this one done. There we go. Got that just right. Right, let's see if we can attempt one of these. In fact, I'm going to go from that angle. Right, okay, their silver's not quite hot enough. I had that out of the heat too long. You see, that's one of the other little foibles of pouring silver. If you don't quite, and this furnace here is good, but if you don't have a digital readout, you can't tell quite what the temperature is. It's all done by kind of guesswork and eye work. So once again, I'm going to pause and put an edit in here, and for me it'll be a few minutes, for you just a few seconds until we're back. Okay, hopefully this time we've got enough hot silver to do 2 pieces in one go, so let's fire up the blowtorch. I need to get a new lighter. I'm running out of gas, it seems, in that one. And here we go. So you can see on that Z piece there's a little bit of silver which has kind of overflowed a little bit. Now we can rectify little mistakes like that with, I've got a pair of nice sharp nail cutter pliers, and we could probably grab that little piece of silver off that piece and be all right. So looking pretty good. Do you know what I've never done? I've never done a full set of all 7 pieces in this mould, because usually by the time I've got there, one of them's gone drastically wrong, like this piece, except even more so. So we are going to attempt the unattempted so far and try and get all 7 done. More silver will be going in, and I will see you in a moment. Right, I've got 2 pieces left to go, and I'm saving the most difficult one for last. It doesn't look like it should be, but this one here, the square, is the most difficult. It's because it's in the middle of the whole set, and to pour it, you'll see the angles just don't work quite as well as all the others. So we're going to save that one for last, but we're going to hopefully break a record and get all 7 pieces done. So, is the silver ready? Yes, it is. Looks good. Okay, here we go. Last one. Oh my goodness me. I've managed what I thought was unmanageable. And I've done it, of course, live on camera, which is typical, isn't it? It's really not that easy to do this. I have many scrap pieces of Tetris sets that didn't work. Now we get them all out of the mould. One last one to go. There we go. Now they weren't all perfect. There was one of them which had that little spur on it, which we can see here. We can trim that off nice and easily though, I'm sure. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm going to pour a whole bunch more, and then we'll catch up over at the desk and see how it's gone for today. I hope you've enjoyed this silver pouring. So I was going to go over to my desk and show you what we'd made, but the lighting is just so awful here today that it's just not possible. So here we have the results. We've got these 7 pieces. I'm going to pour some more, but you've seen one, you've seen them all, so this will probably do us for now. This is the little one that had that little spur, and as you can see, all we have to do is just simply cut it off with these nail trimmers, so that was pretty easy to do. And then it's a little bit sharp, so you can just smooth it down a little bit. We'll get a little bit of very sort of fine sandpaper on that and make sure it's all nice. And of course the quality control is really important for us. This one here has got a little kind of nobule sticking out there. That'll get in the way of other things. You can see these nail trimmers are really good. They trim it off nice and quickly and sharp. And again, you can just trim it down a little bit more. So you see there's lots of little bits of aftercare which I put into all of these. Again, we've got another little bit of an overflow here on this one here. It's quite a big chunky square. I normally try and keep these to a maximum of about 28 grams. So we'll weigh that one and see if it's like over 30, then I'll probably just redo it. But who knows, maybe I'll just be generous and give somebody a valuable little bit of extra silver. So there we go. That's what we do to make some Tetris pieces. Now we're going to put them into the box that we've got here. Which is always fun and very interesting. This is the last thing that I'll leave you guys with. The Edinburgh Assay Office. So I send them up in this box to the Edinburgh Assay Office, and I had a very interesting discussion with them about how I send them up, because I send them up like this. It's the only real practical way that I can think of to get them all up there without them rolling around and falling out and you know, damaging themselves. It's a puzzle in itself to put them in here together, let me tell you. And that's the issue, that at the other end they have to obviously unpack all of these, and then when they're sending it back to me they have to repackage them into, look at that, look how glorious those look under the light. Anyway, we have to then obviously repackage it and send it home, so it's always a bit of a challenge for them. So if anybody's got a really good suggestion of how we can package these and send them up, then that would be very helpful indeed. So guys, I hope you've enjoyed this little ride-along tour. In fact, let's leave that box open because it's just so glorious. I hope you've enjoyed this little ride-along tour on Tetris Day, so to speak. If you have, and you want to see more videos like this in the future, then make sure you hit that like button and let me know that you like this kind of video as well down in the comment section. And if you want to see more like this in the future, then please hit that subscribe button. And if you are subscribed already and you'd like to get a notification when videos go live, hit that alarm bell. Otherwise, I hope you all have a brilliant week ahead. Thank you one and all for watching, and as always, please make sure that you like, share, comment and subscribe for more.